because of a dress, I asked William for a divorce. He frowned. You're fat and ugly. Wearing a pink dress makes you look like a pig. What did I say wrong? It's about time you change your habit of throwing tantrums, or else you'll embarrass yourself in public. Sure enough, William's sharp tongue hasn't changed in 10 years. I didn't say a word, went into the room to pack my bags, and placed the divorce papers on the table. He finally reacted, looked up, and asked, Jenny, are you serious? You want a divorce over this small matter? I nodded, because for me, it's not small. William and I were college sweethearts, got married after graduation, and we had our daughter, Anne. For 15 years, William fit the societal mold of a good husband. He's responsible, has no bad habits, hands over his salary, and is good with the kid. If he has one downside, it's his sharp tongue. Like today, I wore a pink dress. It's actually pretty. Pink looks youthful, even, and said, Mom, you look beautiful in this color. But William didn't agree. The moment he saw me, he frowned. Jenny, do you think you're still an 18-year-old girl wearing this dress? You're already fat and ugly, and you wear pink, looking like a pig. Hurry and change. You're supposed to pick up and later, and you won't just embarrass yourself, but me too. I've had these hurtful days for over 10 years. But at this moment, clutching the hem of my dress, I felt suffocated, like something was squeezing my heart hard, making it hard to breathe. I remembered a few days ago when I wore black clothes to take and to play in the sand. William also frowned at me. You're already of this age and dress so dull, like someone owes you a fortune. In his eyes, dressing brightly is wrong, and dressing plainly is wrong. It's like nothing I do is right to him. Suddenly, I didn't want to live like this anymore. William, let's divorce. When William heard divorce, he finally looked up. He narrowed his eyes, took a sip of tea, and slowly cleaned his glasses. He was casual, like it was just a joke. Jenny, you're 38, not 18, and still throwing teenage tantrums. Did I say anything wrong? You should look at yourself, dress like this, and it's embarrassing. You need to change your temper, or when Anne's classmates find out what kind of picky mom she has, it'll be an embarrassment. That's how William is. All my emotions are overreacting, and all his demeaning words and deeds are trivial. So I didn't say anything. I just went into the room, packed my bags, and took out the divorce papers. Speaking of which, the divorce papers were drafted a month ago. A month ago was William's birthday, and I was busy preparing a big meal for the family all day. Everyone enjoyed it, except William. He was picky, the fish is too fishy, and the broccoli is too salty. Who are you trying to kill with salt? Jenny, don't cook anymore. Just make pig feed. Maybe pigs could eat your food. William's birthday is during the hottest part of summer, and knowing he likes fresh ingredients, I visited several markets and compared them. Afraid my cooking wouldn't meet his standards, I practiced all morning, resulting in several burns on my hands. When he said those words, sweat was still dripping from my forehead, and my wounds were stinging. I finally lost control and smashed everything, questioning why William always speaks like that. And William watched from the side, entertained, saying, "It's just a joke." Was that necessary? That's when the divorce papers were drafted. But no one believed I would actually divorce. My mom advised, "Why divorce? You'll regret it once you've calmed down. William's good, no bad habits, just a sharp tongue. Where will you find such a man again?" I was indeed reluctant. 15 years of feelings aren't easy to let go of. But if I'm being honest, it's easy to let go. Like now, I can finally place the divorce papers calmly in front of him, facing his harsh jokes. I think of that saying, all grand exits are just trials. Real departures are always silent. William casually flipped through the agreement, asking, "Trying to scare me with something from the internet? What friend gave you this idea? You couldn't have thought of this yourself." I ignored him and said, "The agreement is real, and it matches our situation. We've been married for 15 years, and have 2 houses under both our names. We should split one each. As for the cars, it's the same, and we'll split the savings as per the law, 50% each. Anne is grown up. She can decide whom she wants to live with. But Anne's preparing for her exams. I don't want her affected by this, so let's wait until after her exams to tell her. Check if there's anything wrong with the contract. If it's fine, we can go get the paperwork done after Anne's exams." William's expression got serious. He read the agreement thoroughly, looking grimmer and gripping the papers tightly. He suddenly looked up. "Jenny, are you serious? You're divorcing over this small matter?" I nodded to affirm, and added, "Maybe it's small to you, but it's not small to me." I've never been so calm and clear with William before. With just a few words, he could turn me into a crazy mess, and then fault me for being emotional, saying, "Look at you, getting worked up without even making a point. You can argue when you know what you're talking about." But now that I'm calm, he doesn't like it. He frowned and tore up the agreement. "Jenny, you're going too far this time. It's not just about saying I look bad in pink. I'm sorry, okay? It's my fault. I won't say anything when you wear pink again, alright?" But I also have to warn you, marriage isn't a joke. Pulling stunts like this will erode the love between us. He's still the same, offering half-hearted apologies and always shifting the blame, as if a fleeting sorry could cover up all the scars he left me with. But this time, I'm done playing along. I grabbed my suitcase and said, William, I'm serious about this. I've said it before. If you don't want to sign the papers, we'll separate and go to court. I'm willing to fight for the divorce for as long as it takes. By the time I checked into the hotel, my parents had already heard about the divorce from William. They called me to chew me out. Stop being so stubborn. William is quite the catch. Handsome, successful, sure, he can be harsh, but we know he doesn't mean it. Jenny, why can't you just be content? Other men are out there cheating and being abusive. What he says is nothing compared to that. I had heard this kind of reasoning back in college. Back then, William was the popular overachiever adored by everyone. People said I was lucky to be with him, but I had considered breaking up with him before, like when he called me an idiot for struggling with an assignment or belittled me for not winning a competition. The worst time was when I got into making clay art and opened a small online shop. Not only did William dismiss my designs, but he also threw away the pieces I was going to sell. His words still sting. No one wants this junk you're making. I was furious and wanted to end things. My roommate, however, advised me, it's only been this one thing. Otherwise, he's great. Handsome, talented men don't come by often. Even William's little groupies said I was overreacting. Does she really think her stuff is worth anything? Being isolated is a scary thing. When your thoughts go against the tide of everyone else's, you start doubting yourself. I got trapped in that cycle. Was I really ungrateful? Was I too sensitive? Were the things I created really as worthless as William claimed? That's how I ended up staying with him for over a decade. But thankfully, I've woken up now. I firmly told my parents, William might be impressive, but so am I sure. He's better than those who cheat or are abusive. But isn't there a man out there who neither cheats nor abuses, and who also respects me verbally? My parents, being family, must have seen my resolve. They sighed and said, let's talk when you've calmed down. Before hanging up, I didn't waste any time. I opened my laptop and started job hunting. After being a homemaker for so long, it's about time I planned for life post-divorce. Back in the day, I wasn't so bad myself. William was the campus heartthrob, and I was a campus beauty. He was a top student, and my GPA was good enough for further studies too. But once we married and had Anne, William convinced me that I'd been out of the workforce too long to have any skills. That's how I settled into being a stay-at-home mom. Now, I'm ready to restart my life. Just when I was about to send out resumes, Anne called, sobbing. Mom, are you and Dad really getting divorced? What about me? Anne's currently in 8th grade, attending a boarding school to focus on her exams. She comes home only once a month. It's the start of the month now, meaning she shouldn't know about our divorce or have access to a phone, unless someone told her. William. When I stepped through the door, Anne was crying uncontrollably, and William looked annoyed. He immediately started blaming me. Look what you've done. Anne's upset because you had to bring up divorce. Her important exams are in 3 months. How's she supposed to focus now? If she does poorly, it's your fault. Anne looked up, her eyes full of tears. Mom, can you not divorce Dad? I got so upset over the news at school that I couldn't focus on anything. Seeing Anne with tear-streaked cheeks broke my heart. William is quite clever, isn't he? He knows Anne is my weak spot, so even though I warned him not to upset her, especially now, he went ahead. By making her suffer, he wants to soften my resolve, and then he has the nerve to blame me, keeping his hands clean of this mess. As I fell silent, William flashed a smug, satisfied smile. Surely he thought I'd give in for Anne's sake. Pity he underestimated me. I'm a mother, but firstly, I am me. I hugged Anne tightly, wiping her tears away. I'm sorry, but divorce is a fact between your dad and me now. Anne continued to sniffle softly. William's expression changed suddenly, and he shattered a teacup on the floor. Jenny, don't you see how upset our daughter is? How could you still say such things to her? When did you become so heartless? In the past, I might have started shouting back at William by now, but now, I calmly countered him. First off, I told you not to stress Anne because of her exams. If you hadn't disclosed our divorce news early, she wouldn't be this upset, so it's your fault, not mine. Second, our divorce is real, and I won't lie to Anne just because she's sad. She's grown enough to understand. She deserves the truth. And William, using our daughter's pain to blackmail me into staying and calling me cold-hearted, seems to me you're the cold one here. William seemed taken aback by my reaction. He had nothing to say and lit a cigarette, his voice softer now through the smoke. Jenny, I was wrong. I shouldn't have commented on your pink outfit this morning, nor should I have told Anne about our divorce. Will you forgive me this once? Let's move on and live happily as a family of 3. I'm feeling a bit dazed. Yeah, William hasn't always been so tough on me. Sometimes I can't stand the things he says, and after a big fight, he would lower his pride and ask for forgiveness. I really meant well, just didn't do it the right way. I was wrong, I promise it won't happen again. Just this once. The routine of giving a few criticisms and then a sweet gesture works really well. He can criticize me 1,000 times, yet affirm me once, and I'd be head over heels again. I sighed, William, there's no point in arguing about who's right or wrong anymore. I want a good life, but with you around, I'll never be happy. So, please let me go. I took Ann out for dinner. She's calmed down quite a bit, stirring her pasta and quietly asking, Mom, if you guys split up, who will I go with? I patted her head, it's up to you. But I can't choose. I like Dad. He buys me pretty dresses, spends a lot on my hobbies, and takes time off during vacations to travel with me. Mom, I like you too. You remember all my likes and dislikes, comfort me softly when I fail exams, and watch my favorite anime with me. I love both of you so much. Can't you stay together? Anne's words brought back a flood of memories. To be honest, William might not be a great husband, but he's a good father. We were happy once, the three of us, going to parks, amusement parks. But if this happiness means sacrificing my feelings, I'm not okay with that. I thought for a bit and hugged Anne. No matter who you choose to be with, I'm always your mom, and he's always your dad. I'll remember everything about you, I'll do things you love with you. Dad will also support all your decisions. We just can't be husband and wife, but because of you, we're still a family. After hearing this, Anne lowered her head. After a while, as if she had made a decision, she wiped her tears and looked up. Mom, I want to stay with you. She analyzed. After you divorce Dad, you'll need to find a job. Competition is really tough right now. It's not going to be easy for you. I want to be there for you. Compared to Dad, I feel like you need me more. I looked at her, a bit surprised. Anne is more resilient than I thought. She thinks more deeply too. Sensing my emotions, Anne smiled. Mom, I'm not a little kid anymore. This time, let me protect you. I'm not sure what Anne said to William, but he stopped bothering me, though he still hasn't signed the divorce papers. I figured there's no rush. We can wait until Anne finishes her exams. During this time, I rented an apartment and jumped back into the job hunt. Anne was right. Finding a job is tough now. Most of my resumes disappeared into the void. The few that did respond either complained about my lack of experience or that I had a kid. In the end, a design company gave me a chance. Their reason to interview me was unexpected. Turns out it's because I had done clay work in the past. Recently, our company is working on a cultural creation using clay as the main material. We saw your portfolio and noticed your clay work from college. Honestly, it's good. It aligns with our theme. When I heard that, I almost cried. 15 years later, someone finally acknowledged that my work wasn't garbage. I do have skills, and I am talented. I really wasn't that bad, was I? After hanging up, I started preparing for the interview. I studied graphic design in college, so even if I had the basics, it's been a while. I also had to catch up on the latest design software. Those days were tough, but I loved every moment. In William's eyes, I've always been terrible, useless, incomprehensible. But that wasn't the real me. After leaving the wrong person, I'm calm, smart, eager to learn, emotionally stable. I no longer become unhinged over a word or two. I love being in this state, until the day I went to the design company for the interview. But they told me it had been canceled. The receptionist said the interview was canceled via email. Your husband canceled it for you through email. He said in the email that you're only applying for jobs out of spite, not seriously. Once you calm down, you'd return home to care for your daughter. I can't describe my feelings at that moment. Rushing home, I kept explaining my situation over the phone to the interview officer who was on a business trip. I pleaded for another chance. But the officer sounded cold. Sorry, regardless of whether your husband's claims are true or not, we can't risk it. Moreover, after your email canceling the interview, we've found someone suitable. I numbly put down the phone. Felt like all my efforts these days were just a fleeting dream. Yeah, the world is like that. Opportunities come once, and there's always talent lined up. Reality isn't a novel. There are no protagonist perks. Some things, once missed, are truly gone. When I opened the door, William was waiting. You're back. I know what you're about to say. Yes, I canceled your interview. Your email was logged in on the computer. I saw the confirmation, then canceled it for you earlier, and told me to give you some time to calm down. I thought you'd come around, but no, you just got farther away. How long has it been since you last worked? Honestly, you just don't have what it takes. Can you design something with commercial value? Know how to use the software the young folks are using? William rambled on, even leisurely making himself a cup of tea. It must be tough job hunting, right? Admit it, Jenny. Step outside this house, and you're nothing. I couldn't help it. I knocked over his teacup, and then, still simmering with anger, I grabbed a vase and smashed it over his head. Who are you to think I can't design? To think I don't understand? To see me as useless? William clearly wasn't prepared. My attack left him bleeding from his head. Blood stained the white carpet, spreading, congealing, darkening, much like our broken marriage. But seeing me lose it, he had this sick look of satisfaction on his face. Jenny, there you go again, losing your cool. How do you expect to get anything done like this? I suddenly realized what was happening. William was doing this on purpose, intentionally belittling me, to watch me spiral into madness because of his insults. The crazier, the better. He got off on it. My losing control was proof of his power. That's why, earlier, when I was calm toward him, he got so panicked. This time, I wasn't going to let him get away with it. I kept grabbing stuff and chucking it at him, even threw in a few slaps. What's wrong with not keeping calm? Is being calm such a great quality? Stay calm so you can keep diminishing me? Stay calm and go back to a life being manipulated? I was too wild, and now William was a bit scared. He tried to grab my hands to stop me, but I kept punching him until one side of his face got all swollen, and he couldn't talk. I got up and looked at him coldly. William, I'm telling you now, I'm definitely getting this divorce. Don't think you can trap me like before. Stop me one more time, and I'll hit you again. The boxing classes I took really paid off. William didn't get back on his feet for a while, and couldn't keep me there. Still, being considerate, I called him an ambulance. Not even half an hour later, my mom called me, her shrill voice nearly deafening. Jenny, what did you do? How could you hit William so hard? You better get over there and apologize to William right now, or I won't consider you my daughter anymore. My dad chimed in, yelling too, Jenny, how did I raise such a person like you? I took a deep breath, trying hard to calm myself. But deep down, I felt a sharp pain, blood turning into tears that dripped down. I asked, Dad, Mom, do you really see me as your child? Sometimes, it feels like you see William as your real kid. As a kid, he'd always come over to play. You saved the big chicken legs for him, gave him new clothes. Even the comic books I loved most were his. In middle school, he'd get first place, I'd get second, and you'd scold me for being worthless, saying I was in his shadow. Then after I got married, whenever William and I fought, I'd come running home to you. You promised to stay out of it, but then turned around and sided with him, calling it a lover's spat. Dad, Mom, you showered William with so much love. Why can't you share some with me? My mom was stunned. She coughed awkwardly. That was because William had family issues. He was a latchkey kid. We thought, living next door, we should look out for him. You, girl, why are you so petty, remembering such trivial things after all this time? I didn't reply, just kept going. Dad, Mom, you know what? There was a time when I'd always go to the rooftop. Unconsciously, I'd stand at the edge, thinking, if I just jumped off, it would all be over. Just jump, no one will call you worthless anymore. Later, I found out I had depression. I started taking meds, sleeping excessively, feeling out of it. But you guys accused me of being lazy, unambitious, with a bad temper. You worried more for William, saying supporting a family was hard for him. Even when you came over, you'd bring fish and ginseng he loved, never anything I liked. Was it because you didn't want to, or because you didn't know? On the other end, my mom sighed deeply. Jenny, you're our child. How could we not know what you like? Really? Then tell me, what do I like? Food, clothes, anything. Just name one. Silence. That silence was an answer in itself. I quietly added, I can't apologize to William. If I don't come back, and you decide you don't have a daughter anymore, so be it. And I moved. Changed my address. Only told Anne. She's kept quiet, just telling everyone who asked. Mom needs her own space. At the same time, I filed for divorce. In this day and age, it's tough. Especially since William hadn't technically cheated, and we weren't separated for 2 years. The lawyer warned it would be a long battle. I didn't care. I could endure. Plus, I finally landed a job. It was at the tiniest design company, just starting out. Barely any cash. The pay was only $1,500 a month, even less than the interns got. But I was satisfied, refusing to miss any opportunity, studying relentlessly. At first, I was a slow learner, and the young folks at the company poked fun. Jenny, can you handle this? You can't even grasp the simplest things? But compared to 15 years of being put down, those remarks were nothing. If I didn't understand, I asked. Didn't comprehend? I'd ask again. Until finally, I had something to show for it. A big company noticed my design work, bought the rights, and I started gaining recognition. With promotions and raises, my wallet was no longer strapped. Now the young ones praised me. Jenny's designs have such a story to them. Of course they do. How old are you compared to her? You can't compete with her experience. Their compliments were so honest, they made me blush. I shrugged it off. Oh, come on, stop joking around. I still have a lot to learn. Intern Cindy cut through my modesty. Jenny, we're not joking. Don't be so down on yourself. You're amazing. Nearly 40, divorced, out in the world making a name for yourself. We reckon when you were young, you must have been some fierce woman, like those TV bosses, unstoppable and commanding. But honestly, that wasn't true. When Jenny was young, she felt inferior to the core. She thought she was bad, incompetent, worthless. Talking to others, her back would involuntarily stoop a little. It was through hardship and pain that Jenny became who she is now. I became friends with Cindy. After work, she'd come to my little rental to eat. Once, while cooking, I got distracted and accidentally added too much salt. Just half a spoon more, really. But a sudden panic hit me. William's words echoed in my head. So much salt in the dish. Who are you trying to salt to death? Don't cook anymore, just make pig food. I was uneasy, carefully bringing out the dish, hoping Cindy wouldn't blame me. Sorry, I added too much salt. It might not taste good. Cindy was shocked. Jenny, you scared me. Just too much salt. The look on your face made me think you put poop in it. She tasted it and looked impressed. Anything Jenny makes is top-notch. It's delicious. A little extra salt can't hide Jenny's cooking skills. Plus, if you ask me, anyone who can cook is amazing. I'm 25, and every time I step into the kitchen, I leave with more cuts on my hands. Jenny, why are you crying? Now Cindy, the careful one, spoke softly. Jenny, what's wrong? Did something happen? If I was sobbing quietly before, now I was outright bawling. I realized for the first time, no one was yelling at me for adding too much salt. It's okay to lose control of your emotions. You can be cared for. My tears fell, bursting into happy little droplets on the floor. I just suddenly felt so happy. The feeling of being appreciated, being cared for. It was so nice. After Anne's high school entrance exams, she stayed home for a bit. She told me William is a mess at living. He forgets to do laundry or can't cook anything edible. Guess he's not as all-powerful as he thinks. No wonder he calls me up so often. One day, it's about where his brown tie is. Next, how to turn on the kitchen exhaust fan. Then the location of the stomach medicine or the repairman's number. I was getting annoyed. Finally, when he called again asking how to fix the kitchen faucet, I mocked him. William, how come you can't even handle the little things? Those familiar words pulled me back to a long time ago. It was a rainy day. I came home drenched and found the kitchen pipe burst, flooding everywhere. I tried fixing the pipe, mopping, and soothing a 2-year-old and in bed, crying nonstop. When William came back, seeing the mess, his first words were, Jenny, how can you not even handle such small stuff? Not good at housekeeping, bad at taking care of Anne. How can you mess everything up so bad? The water kept dripping and kept crying. I begged William to help me out, but he said, managing the house is your job. The mess is your problem. You must deal with it alone. So now, hearing William's anxious call, I gave those words back to him. Silence stretched on the other end. Only soft water sounds and William's heavy breathing remained. He remembered. Yeah, ties don't arrange themselves neatly, cooked meals don't appear out of nowhere, and broken pipes don't magically fix. What I've done has never been a little thing. Never. After a long pause, I heard a barely audible voice from the other end. He said, I'm sorry. Maybe that day's memory made William feel guilty. He started being nicer. Via and I heard the house got a makeover, all to my liking. Somehow, he found my company address, sending me flowers frequently. Roses, tulips, all the romantic stuff I once wanted when I was young. Back when I first got together with William, I'd see flower sellers on the street and beg him for some. His face would darken and he'd pull his hand away. Flowers? Just a consumerist trap. Jenny, please educate yourself. Without me, you'd get scammed by this nonsense. My bubble of pink dreams popped. The little bouquet I tucked away in my bag never saw the light of day. William didn't understand some things are all about timing. Miss the moment, it's gone forever. At 38, Jenny doesn't need romance now. She needs strength and money. On the day William sent me flowers for the 10th time, I achieved my second promotion. On the chat app, William's messages kept appearing and disappearing, finally settling on one sentence. Saw your promotion news, awesome, really impressive. I felt a bit dazed. Thinking back, fresh out of college, I also got promoted. I eagerly told William the great news only to have it shot down. Just a small manager role? What's there to boast about? This kind of arrogance will end your climb. Young me never thought that over a decade later, I'd hear praise from William. His messages still kept coming. An invite to a movie. 2 tickets to my favorite old anime, now as a movie. He said, Jenny, you loved this anime in college, right? It's showing now, let's go watch it. Deciding this must have been tough for William. He always preferred Hollywood blockbusters filled with effects. Criticized my favorite anime as just childish play. Once we had a big fight over this. He couldn't stand watching me nap through the blockbusters. I couldn't take him trashing my cherished characters. The next day, William deleted all my anime files. The collectibles, posters, gone. What replaced them was a special effects movie list from William. He said, "Jenny, watch something good for a change." Back then, I was 7 months pregnant. No job, no savings, divorce, and then what? What about my unborn daughter? How do I explain to everyone? Would someone as messed up as me ever find someone else? I was too young then, cared more about others than myself. I felt trapped, like I was caught in walls with no way out in any direction. That suffocating feeling has crossed time and space and is rushing back to me now. I suddenly realized it was too late. Whether it was William's apology or his attempts at kindness, it was too late. I wasn't happy about him trying to be better. I only felt fear and unease. Every change he made reminded me of how he used to be. The old wounds ran too deep to be covered by new memories. I told William how I felt. I sincerely asked him to leave me alone. But he didn't understand. "Jenny, I admit I messed up before. But you see, I've changed recently. Do a few harsh words or mistakes from the past really mean you have to shut me out completely?" We couldn't communicate. I just threw the flowers he sent into the trash, turned down his invitations over and over again. But William kept coming back. Until that day, when he found my depression diagnosis note in a drawer at home. I saw William again a year later. I had just finished a counseling session and saw him smoking downstairs at the clinic. Honestly, at first glance, I didn't recognize him. He looked so worn out. Our mutual friends said he hadn't been doing well the past 6 months. His career hit a bump, getting scolded by his boss daily at work. And he wasn't any good at housework, leaving things in chaos at home. I suddenly realized he'd aged. He wasn't the sharp, commanding figure he used to be in college. In his tired life, he needed someone slightly beneath him to prove he was still smart, successful, handsome. In his life, there was no better choice than me for that. William was delighted to see me. Or maybe astonished. In those 6 months apart, I'd lost a lot of weight and got a perm. Looked like a whole new person. My career was thriving, landing a few big projects, and my bonus had tripled. William didn't get too enthusiastic, just cautiously said, "Jenny, long time no see." I nodded. "I heard you got a job and even got promoted." "Yeah, it's going well." William hesitated, couldn't find any more words. Pretty funny, after 15 years of marriage, all we had were 3 sentences to exchange. A little impatient, I said, "If you've got nothing to say, I'm leaving. Talk to my lawyer about the divorce." "Wait." William grabbed my wrist. "I found your medical records and the card for this clinic at home. Jenny, you've got depression and even self-harmed. Why didn't you tell me?" He was holding the spot of my scars. The scars had turned white, raised, glaring ugly on my skin. His rough fingers traced the scars, and his eyes started to redden. "Jenny, why didn't you tell me?" I answered softly. "I did. I told you." I clearly remember it was after a college reunion with him. All the way home, he didn't stop complaining. "Jenny, look at Jane. She was in your dorm. Now she's a manager at headquarters. And you? Nothing. No career, and you can't even dress up? Look at Christina. She had a kid. You had a kid, but she bounced back in shape, and you? Have you counted the rolls on your stomach?" He got louder and louder, making people stare. Those looks, mocking, pitying, watching the drama. They enveloped me, suffocating me. I suppressed myself like a spring, squashed to the bottom, then sprang back. I exploded. In our argument, I screamed at William with all my might. "Would you only stop thinking I'm a loser if I died? You forced me into depression. When will enough be enough?" Recalling it, William turned pale. I smiled, continued. "William, how did you reply back then? You said, 'What depression? Jenny, you're just emotional. Uselessness is no excuse for illness.' Remember? A bunch of racers were speeding by. I thought, why not just hit them, end it all, stop hearing your words? But I couldn't bear to leave Anne behind. She wasn't grown up. She needed me. William, if not for Anne in those 15 years, I would have been long gone." William was stunned. When he spoke again, his voice was tinged with sobs. "Jenny, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was that serious. Sometimes my mouth runs off. I didn't mean to put you down. They were just words. Jenny, please forgive me. In the year you've been gone, I thought long and hard. I admit I was horrible before. I miss your pink dress, your cooking, you fiddling with clay at the desk." I sighed, but back then, you never treasured those things. You always said I dressed drab, said my food was pig slop, said my clay work was trash. William, life is short and I've already spent 15 years on you. How many more 15 years do I have? Or what? You won't be satisfied till you drive me to my death. William went silent. I felt his grip on my wrist gradually loosening. He lit another cigarette, smoking quietly, his trembling fingers revealing his inner turmoil. After a while, he spoke. A month. What? Give me a month. If you still decide to divorce, I'll let you go. I agreed and moved back to William's house to put a period on our relationship. Anne was surprised to see me at home, but she didn't say much, just hugged me, whispered in my ear, "Mom, I support whatever you decide." But William was thrilled. On the first day, he cooked all by himself, saying we had to celebrate and getting a good grade on her monthly exam. He spent the whole day in the kitchen and looked at me expectantly. "Jenny, how's my cooking?" I took a bite and frowned. "William, what is this even supposed to be? For pigs? Wait, even pigs might not want to eat it." William's face slowly turned pale. He clenched his fists and forced a smile. "If you don't like it, let's just throw it away." The next day, he wore a denim outfit, mimicking my favorite male celebrity. I sipped my porridge, not even looking up. "William, how old are you? Still dressing like kids today? Don't wear it outside. I'd be embarrassed if you're not." Hearing this, William quietly changed his clothes. On the third day, we went to an island together. William built a castle on the beach and excitedly called me over to look. "Jenny, look. Does it look like the one you made last year?" Then he got a bit sad. "Last year, it was so nice being here with the family. Now, everything's changed." I corrected him. "It wasn't good back then either. I built a castle, and you said it was ugly, that I had no artistic talent." Later, when we went to eat, I wanted to try the local food stalls, and you said I had no taste, not knowing how to dine in style during travel. William finally couldn't hold it in. "Jenny, do you really have to do this? I say one thing, and you say 10 things to criticize me." I reminded him, "Don't forget, I've lived like this for 15 years. He didn't say anything after that, but I suddenly felt empty. Does hurting someone the way they hurt you feel satisfying? Sure, but then what? Every time you retaliate, the scars on your heart sting, reminding you that you've never really moved on. You're still holding on to the past pain." So for the next few days, I started ignoring William. I wasn't interested in anything. William, on the other hand, started to panic. He held my hand, begging me, "Jenny, can you please talk to me? You can even mock me. But when you ignore me, I feel like there's absolutely no affection left for me." He was playing the part of a loving man, but I wasn't interested in the role of the audience. I just silently counted the days until the month was over. A month was almost gone. On the last day, William wanted to talk. Under the dim candlelight, I heard about his family for the first time. He wasn't some kid left to be raised alone. It was a cheating mom and a runaway dad. His sharp tongue became his shield from the world. From childhood, people were intimidated by his cold demeanor and harsh words. Except for me, the girl living next door. I always smiled kindly at him, even right after he'd scolded me. I'd still pop my head out and ask him if he wanted to come for dinner. "Jenny, I never knew love, so I didn't know how to love anyone. I just remember my dad used to scold my mom like that. People around us would say that fighting and bickering was a form of love. So that's what I thought love was." "Jenny, I'm sorry. I hurt you." He cried into his hands, talking about his helplessness. I just felt alarmed. I never thought the occasional kindness I showed would become the source of my nightmares later in life. If I hadn't reached out to that boy in the corner, if I hadn't invited that poor boy to eat with us, maybe I would have parents who love me, a partner who respects me. Instead, I've been drifting in this nightmare called marriage for over a decade. "Jenny, I understand now. I was loving you the wrong way. Can you give me another chance to start over?" I shook my head. "How do you start over?" William might be able to restrain himself. For 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. But what about the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Life is long. Can he promise he'll never fall back into old habits? I can't risk it. I won't. William understood my answer. He wiped away his tears and signed his name on the divorce agreement. We picked a sunny day to get divorced. When I held the divorce certificate, I couldn't help but laugh. William forced a smile, joking, "Jenny, we're getting divorced, and you can still laugh, heartless." Sometimes I really think, maybe you never loved me. The trees cast shadowy spots of sunlight on the ground. I vaguely remembered the day William and I got our marriage certificate. It was a sunny day, too. That day, he surprisingly listened to me and wore a white shirt and black shoes. When I acted playfully, he didn't criticize me, just awkwardly turned his head, his ears turning red. Wow, we really had moments where we loved each other that much, didn't we? I think I can finally answer William's question. Loved you. I answered in my heart. Loved the warmth of your lips the first time we kissed. Loved when you acted tough, saying you didn't like Jenny, that little dummy. Loved your worried brow when you took me to the delivery room. 15 years, how could I not love you? But loving you came at an unbearable price. So we had no choice but to part ways. William and I got a peaceful divorce. We keep in touch occasionally. And with my parents, well, we couldn't completely cut ties either. I just visit way less often now, maybe only for the holidays. At first, Mom and Dad used to bring up William, but later, they stopped. They even started praising me. Jenny, we heard you got another promotion, that's awesome. Sometimes they'd even take my side, shooing William away when he came to see me. You used to hurt my daughter. You're not welcome here anymore. But I didn't feel any happier. Can late affirmation and preference still count? But it doesn't really matter now. The first New Year after the divorce, I went back home with and William showed up too. I heard that since the divorce, many people tried to set him up, but he turned them all down. We took into the riverbank outside town to set off fireworks. After all, and was still just a kid, super excited to see her mom and dad together. One firework after another lit up the sky. The very last one burst, glowing brightly in the night, and I heard William's voice. Jenny, is there really no chance for us? You saw, and today, she's so happy when we're together. This year, you haven't started dating anyone new, and I'm still alone. Doesn't that mean I still have a chance? As soon as he finished, more fireworks went off. I pretended not to hear him, just then, and pulled me to set off more fireworks, and William had to let it go. But he didn't give up. Late at night, I heard him secretly asking and if I'd shown signs of seeing someone new. And, surprisingly serious, said, Dad, give it up. Just because Mom isn't dating anyone doesn't mean she wants to get back with you. She's not happy with you. Her words brought tears to my eyes. Those days of holding on to life weren't in vain after all. Maybe I'm unfortunate, having a failed, unbearable marriage for 15 long years. But I'm also lucky. I have a daughter who understands me, a successful career and friends who truly get me. In the future, if I'm a bit luckier, maybe I'll meet someone who understands me. I'll happily slip into that pink dress, over and over, even as I grow old. And he'll kiss the corners of my mouth, telling me time and again, you're beautiful.